The designers were quite willing to steal from the IS-3 design bureau as well. The top of the turret is dominated by the very large access port for removing the cannon. Similarly, the hatches are basically IS-3. Originally, the Commander was going to have a rotating cupola similar to a late model M4 medium tank, but it looks like they just gave up on that idea. Next stop, inside. Well, as I get in, immediately it's an improvement over the IS-3 because they've made a bustle rack at the rear for the ammunition instead of having the ammunition all scattered around inside. So they made a lot more room, either for more personal space or for additional things like coaxial ammunition. I'm now in the loader's hatch. That of course was responsible for the 12-7 machine gun and loading the 22 rounds of ammunition into the D25T cannon. Very, very large breech handle here, has to be said. Sideways sliding breech. Nice big recoil guard. This yoke here that's kind of half blocking the camera shot, it is an internal travel lock. If you don't want to spin the turret all the way around to use the gun crutch on the outside, this will do the same job and it just simply mounts onto there. Other features of the loader's station, not many. There is a ventilator to his forward right. There's another ventilator over to his rear directly over the ammunition. To the rear we have the engine. It's a 750 horsepower V12. It's basically an improvement on the old V2. It is coupled to a new transmission and steering system, not stolen from the Germans. However, the steering system is capable of neutral steer. Not much else in the loader station. Alright. Oh, the things I do for this job sometimes. Oh dear God. Help. Trying to figure out how to put my foot in. Okay, that's on the accelerator. Ow. Okay. I think we're good. Oh dear God. Okay. Driver's position. You will note that my foot is way over the clutch. I mean, I don't know if you can even see the clutch pedal here. This has got two positions, presumably one for driving outside and one for driving inside. And I physically cannot drive this tank. I mean, if I try to put my foot on the clutch, this is where the pedal is, and this is where my knee is. Where the hell does my head go? Okay. Oh, so I'll just move this out of the way here for the sake of it. As we have a look around, it appears that there are two levers for lifting up the hatch. The hatch has two periscopes, which are rotatable. Of course, being a rather disregarded museum piece, the hatch doesn't work, so that's why I had to go through this convoluted way of getting in. Going around, starting on the left, I guess. Electrical control panel, fire extinguisher discharge, your regular control panel. So it looks like we got temperature, looks like pressure, more temperature, and I think a rev counter. Moving further to the right, this is the control panel for the cold weather starting. So it's the compressed air cylinders, which are down at the bottom. Release the lever and everything will start, hopefully. To the right, there will be two batteries, and there are similarly two batteries on the left-hand side. On top of those could be stowed propellant charges. Speedometer on the right. It optimistically, the speedometer says 100 kilometers an hour, and it has 522 kilometers on the clock. I'm not even going to try it now. The accelerator is down here. I need to move my leg out of the way again. Ouch. Hang on. There we go. Haha. This dirt flies off. Okay, so attached to the accelerator, we still have the hand throttle, steering levers, which also apparently function as the brake. And again, if in neutral, which this is right now, I'm told that this will neutral steer. There are 6 gears forward and 2 in reverse, it would appear. And the manual, believe it or not, does not make mention of what that handle is. Don't ask. Last thing as you go around to the side is the master power switch is located here, where you push down and it pops out, kind of like the BT5, correction, BT70. And here are the bottles for the fire extinguisher. I'd like to talk about more because otherwise I have to get back out again the way I came in, and I'm not looking forward to that. Directly underneath me is the escape hatch for the bottom. So you got the torsion bars, the escape hatch, and then the turret floor. The turret does rotate, the floor does rotate. However, what they haven't been able to tell me is how do I, as the driver, get out of this hatch? And I mean, the only thing I can think of is I actually come back out of the turret, lift up the seat back, and then fall forward, which doesn't strike me as being a very convenient way of doing things. Now, I know on some tanks the driver's hatch flips to the side, but I'm not sure I even want to think about that. Actually, one last thing now mentioned on the far left is the fuel tank gauge, which is a very simple siphon off of the tanks, and you simply look at it visually and you can see how much fuel is in it. I guess now I have to get out again. All right, onwards. Toys for the gunner to play with. D25T 122mm gun, taken pretty much from the IS-2, and to the right is the coaxial 12.7. Controls, he has both power and manual traverse. Luxury. Power traverse is this little yoke to the left here. There we go. And of course, manual traverse is good old-fashioned hand crank. Elevation located to his front right. He has two forms of visibility. He's got a telescope, direct vision, by 4.5, and up on top he's got a rotatable periscope. Intercom system. Intercom control system. And right behind him, he's going to have the knees of the commander. Maybe the commander's position, simple enough, doesn't have much. He's got a periscope adjustable in elevation and rotation. To his left, he's got another comm control. The radio mount will be directly over his left shoulder. And that's it. His last worry really is just making sure he doesn't kick the gunner too hard by accident. And of course, making sure that his arm is well clear of the recoil of the gun, because you can see the breech comes very far out. Well, we're done in here. Let's go out. IS-4 suffered two significant failings. Firstly, it was a tad overweight. Secondly, by the time it was in production in 1946, the war was over and there was no need for heavy tanks anymore, especially not an additional set since IS-3 was in production. As a result, less than 250 of the things were made, and they saw out the service lives in the Far East, usually facing down the Chinese border. Although there was a midlife modification plan in the 1950s, by the 1960s they were being withdrawn from service, and a few suffered the indignity of becoming static pillboxes. That brings us to a close of the IS-4 tour, and I hope you enjoyed it, found it vaguely informative, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.